Okay, before I forget to document me moving my shop, uh, I've got to move it because when I built it in the wrong spot. It's inside of an easement. I misread the codes that were on the, well, I guess it's the ordinances. I read the city ordinance and it said I needed to have a 1 foot setback, and I thought I was actually reading the county setback system. I was wrong. It's 10 feet, not 1 foot, because the county's got a whole different set of ordinances, but it's all on the same website, so it's my mistake. But nonetheless, I built it in the wrong spot, and I've got to move it 7 feet to account for the easement. I requested a variance, but it turned out I was in a utility easement, and you can't request a variance inside of a utility easement without a whole bunch of other departments signing off on it. So I decided it'd be best to just move it. So I've had a slab poured forward of where the building was at, right here. It gets me my additional 7 feet. So I've got to move this shop. I'll give you a big step back of the shop. But here's the slab, so I got to move it from, see the corner there? That corner needs to end up right here, this spot. Okay, so I've done some calculations, and I think the building weighs just about 4,000 pounds with the sheathing, the 2x4s, 2x6s. It's a metal roof. I don't know how much the metal weighs per se, but it's a lot lighter than a shingled roof. I do have a massive overhangs all the way around it. I use the turnbuckles and steel cable. It has like ceiling joists up here to help keep the roof up straight over on the overhang, along with my two 2x4s. It's all pressure treated lumber, help holding this overhang up. It's a nice 4-foot overhang, so I can have the door open, it can rain and all that, and don't have any issues. But as far as moving the building, I'm working on jacking it up right now, and I've actually got it completely broke loose everywhere. All the bolts are loose, and I've jacked it up all the way around 2 inches so far. And that's when I realized I haven't documented any of this, so maybe I should take some time to kind of be able to reflect on it, or maybe, I don't know, I might post this on YouTube, we'll see. But either way, I'm sure I'd get a lot of comments of how I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I was on YouTube, but I need to do this as most affordable as possible, and I've done everything I can to be safe. So I'll just kind of show what I did for as far as bracing. I got these 2x6s. They just happen to be pressure treated. I didn't mean to get that, but that's what the guy documented. I got this from Menards, and if you go to their contractor desk, they'll sell you lumber, and I just said I needed some 2x6, and I think he just assumed it was going to be pressure treated. But nonetheless, so I've got 2x6 that goes the whole length of the building, and that's the load-bearing wall, along with that load-bearing wall. The gable ends are not load-bearing whatsoever. They don't hold any weight other than the walls themselves. So I got the 2x6s went all the way along. I've attached them to every single stud. I use these massive, I don't have them in here with me, but I've got these really big 5/16 bolts with huge heads on them that goes all the way through it. I think I've got a couple T25 screws behind this also. But these are 4 inches long, so they go really deep in the stud, unlikely to pull out. They've got a really powerful shear strength. This is a 1,000 pound angle bracket that I've used to help kind of hold the weight as you jack up. I've added an additional 2x4 to it to also take some of the weight, so as I start jacking up, I have to push on the 2x6 that's mounted against it, along with this 2x4 with 3 screws on it. It's been working really well, actually. I'm trying to do this all by myself, so I'm just trying to jack up a little bit at a time. And as I go, I'm actually noticing if I jack up in the center, it'll actually bring up both edges, both corners, along with it, even if I'm only trying to do like a 1/4 inch at a time, and vice versa. So if I do like that in corner and this one down here, the center will come up without me even jacking it up. So the building, like I said, is like only 4,000 pounds, and each of these jacks can handle, I think the smallest one I have is like 4 ton. I borrowed that from work, but this is it's coming up really easy, even better than I kind of anticipated. I did use these long 2x4s to attach the wall so that way they wouldn't spread out or come in. I've got one at each gable end and then one here in the center. So that should just help me keep my width from left to right in here. Now when I also had this slab poured, I had the contractor come in. He cut this right here. You can hardly see it. That's where it got attached together. But he cut here and back here. And then when I move this building, the back wall should sit right here on this. This should be, my hand is the OSB. It should slide right down here. That's what my plan is. And that'll get me where I want. So when he did this, he had to dig, once he cut this open, he had to dig down 18 inches, pour a brand new footer right here. It's got rebar going into the slab, and where the old footings are at each end, there's rebar coming back this way, along with new fresh rebar that just goes the length of the footing. So it's all done proper and right, so that way the next person knows that there's a footing wrapped all the way around this building. And so far it's going pretty well. I've bought these professional movers. They say they're worth 2.5 tons each as far as weight capacity. I ordered 6, only 4 showed up. There's supposedly another package somewhere in transit, but I can't get the tracking number to show me anything. It just shows that it's shipped, and that's been 2 weeks ago, but it doesn't have any updates since then. So I kind of think it's lost. So I think I'm going to use just 4 of them, and I've got these real big, I can't see them in my truck from here, but I've got some 4x6s in the back of my truck. So I think once I get it up high enough, I might have to do some additional jacking, then put more blocking, and then jack again. But I think if I can get this under there, one of these rollers, and have a 4x6 that's, you know, certain length, at least 3 feet, 4 feet. Some of those are actually 6 feet plus. I don't know if I'll cut any of them down, but I think that'll easily hold the weight of this building. So I can have these rollers hold it along with 4x6s that go underneath the sill plate for a long distance. And I think that will easily hold this building up, and then I'll be able to pull it or even push it. I think with a couple guys I could probably get in the back of the building and push it. If I can't get any help, then I'll just do it myself and I'll pull it. I've got a skid steer. If I can get some chains out, I can pull the building with that. I've got my truck I can pull it with. Hell, I don't know, my lawnmower might even do it. Like if you think of about a pallet jack with a pallet that has 2,000, 2,500 pounds, one guy can easily push that. I think this building I would struggle to push it on my own just because of the sheer size and awkwardness. But I mean, when you think about it, 4,000 pounds on a bunch of wheels isn't that heavy. Someone can push their own car. You know, say it broke down on the side of the road and you push it a certain distance. My truck weighs 5,800 pounds. I think I'd really struggle to push it, but if it is on a flat road, I could probably push it. And this is a completely level pad, so we'll see how it goes. But I just kind of want to document what we're doing and how I'm doing it. I can look back and say, hey, remember that crazy time I had to move my building just to satisfy the county? But nonetheless, I'll try and do an update as I move it. Maybe once I get it jacked up and put the rollers underneath, I'll take another video or some pictures or something. Okay?